Adam Schefter, how are we doing this week?
What's going on, guys? How are we doing?
We are dealing with the aftermath of no trade, so I'll start there. From everything you heard or ascertained, why do you think the Patriots didn't make any moves yesterday?
Because there were not any moves to be made from their perspective. They feel like they're building a roster around Drake Maye, and they'd like to obviously have that roster be as strong as possible. You're not going to make moves just to make moves. You want to make sure that they're the right moves at the right time. And they could have used certain players at certain spots. It wouldn't have hurt to get another defensive back. It wouldn't have hurt to get another offensive lineman. It wouldn't have hurt to get another running back. But I think that they just felt like the value wasn't there. I think they checked in on various things, but I was told early in the week that not to expect anything significant from them, and that's exactly what happened.
Adam, I'm curious just what you're hearing, or just what is the prevailing thought on the Colts trading for Sauce Gardner. I mean, that feels like an all-in move. I mean, giving up 2 first-rounders for a team that's feels like they they have a chance. Just what are people saying about that trade there?
It feels to me a lot like what the Washington Commanders did last year when they had the type of year they were having with a great young quarterback, and traded for Marshon Lattimore right before the trade deadline. Now, they didn't give up 2 once.
Hey, Adam, hold on, buddy, hold on. Are you? Can you get moved to a different spot of the house or wherever you're at? Because we're having a hard time hearing you. It's very jumbled, my man. Sorry.
Let me try a different line. I'll hang up and go right back.
There you go. Let's do that.
All right, thanks, Adam.
That'll be better. Sorry, I had to jump in there, guys. I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yes, he was in his fish tank, it sounded like.
So
that was.
I
have a theory, by the way. Have you noticed this? I think
Yeah.
cell service is getting worse.
Yeah, maybe.
Across the board.
Too many people and not enough bandwidth.
Yeah.
There's something going on there.
There is, because there was a long stretch where we weren't having these issues, man.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines for Adam Schefter. Adam, let's try that again.
Yep, Adam, we were talking about the Colts making that trade, and then start from there, bud.
Yeah, I think to me it resembles what the Commanders did last year. They didn't give up 2 ones for Marshon Lattimore, but they traded a 2 and another draft pick compensation because they felt like they had a window to make a run. Now, Marshon Lattimore didn't play particularly well, and he tore his ACL this year, so the move didn't work out, and the Commanders' season is obviously going south. But the Colts are in a position where they feel like they added a franchise quarterback in Daniel Jones, and they feel like they don't have to take a quarterback in the first round the next 2 years. They have the best record in football. They feel like there's an opportunity to get better on defense, and when Charvarius Ward comes back from concussion protocol off IR, their 2 cornerbacks are going to be Ward and Sauce Gardner. It's quite a formidable tandem. They think that will help their pass rush because they don't have to give the corners as much help, and so they're going for it. And I think we're seeing teams do this, right? Like Green Bay saw an opportunity with Micah Parsons, traded 2 ones. The Colts saw an opportunity with Sauce Gardner, traded 2 ones. The Dallas Cowboys saw an opportunity with Quinn Williams, traded a 1 and a 2. So you're seeing teams identify these players and be very aggressive about pursuing them.
Yeah, the Jets basically had a yard sale where they put a box out front and said, just pay what you want and come on by, which was wild. And, I mean, that's just the Jets doing business that way. But who in your mind, Adam, improved significantly or so much that, like, they could have now entered the postseason chat? And what was your favorite move of all?
Well, I think what the Philadelphia Eagles did was really strong. I mean, I like the moves where you're getting a value back, right? Like the Baltimore Ravens get Draymond Jones. Don't give up a lot. And he should really help their defense. The Eagles get Jalen Green back for a 3rd-round pick. And if he leaves in free agency, then they'll get a comp pick back the next year. So basically, they're leasing him out. And he upgrades your pass rush this season as you try to defend your Super Bowl title. You basically traded rounds to get Jair-Alexander. Now, Jair-Alexander may wash out. He might. And if he does, it costs you nothing. Nothing. But you're rolling the dice. They traded a receiver in John Mechie that wasn't getting on the field for them for a cornerback, Michael Carter, that the Jets at one point made one of the highest paid nickelbacks in the league when their general manager was Joe Douglas. Well, guess who is working in the Eagles front office now? Joe Douglas. So he tells the Eagles, hey, this guy's got a lot of talent. He's got unique skills. I think it's worth trading a receiver we don't use for him, and that's what happens. So to me, the Eagles added 3 players that could help them here, and it cost them very little.
Time now to get this week's Drake take from Adam Schefter, presented by your New England Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive. Adam, we've been talking all year about how well Drake has played, and he had a couple turnovers last week, but if that's his worst game, then he's doing okay. So my question is, a popular topic has been the 2024 quarterback class, redrafting or ranking those quarterbacks in that impressive class. If I were going to ask you to do that, how would you rank those top 4 or 5 quarterbacks from a year ago?
Drake Maye won right now. And again, we'll see how the year finishes out. I don't know what it means to give rankings out right now, but Drake Maye, I think, would be the top pick in that class. And again, I go back to that year. I want to give my friend and colleague Tim Hasselbeck credit. Tim Hasselbeck was saying Drake Maye is the best quarterback in this draft class. He pounded that drum before the draft. Tim Hasselbeck identified Drake Maye as the guy that teams should want. And you know what? The Giants wanted him, and the Vikings wanted him. And both teams tried to trade up to New England's spot at 3, but New England wanted to hold on to the pick, rightfully so. And the Bears were always locked in on Caleb Williams. And the Commanders at 2, the 2 players that they were considering, oddly enough, were Jaden Daniels and J.J. McCarthy. So Drake Maye was destined to get to the Patriots, and they're fortunate that he did. And right now, he's had the best career of the quarterbacks in that draft class. The key is, it's midway through his second year. When we raise that question at the end of this year, what's going to be the answer? When we raise that question next year, what's going to be the answer? It's nice to have that answer be the way it is now, but it's more important that it be a certain way in the future.
No doubt, Adam, no doubt. Another team in the AFC that, I think started off pretty hot. It's cooled down a little bit, but I thought made some interesting moves at the trade deadline, considering the fact that the head coach, Liam Cohen, I'm talking about the Jaguars, is a first year there, and they're also a first-year general manager, James Gladstone, who's only 35 years old. I mean, they traded for Jacoby Myers, gave up a couple draft picks. And I just thought that you don't see a lot of first-year head coaches and young general managers kind of do trades like that at midseason. Just your thoughts on how the Jags are being run this year in the trade for Jacoby Myers.
Very aggressively. Look, Jacoby Myers was a player that had some interest, and Jacksonville went into yesterday with 13 draft picks. They ended the day with 11 draft picks and Jacoby Myers. So, yes, they gave up a 4 and a 6. That's a lot for a rental wide receiver whose contract is up after this year. But Travis Hunter is going to be out for an extended period here. You don't know if he'll play again this year. And Brian Thomas Jr. has a high ankle sprain where he didn't practice. And they're in the playoff race, and they want to win. And it's important to them. So they gave up 2 picks. They still have 11 in next year's draft. And they get Jacoby Myers in the trade to give them another weapon with Hunter down and questions about Thomas and when he'll be available.
Big game Sunday for the Patriots. Got a nice big national broadcast on CBS, Adam. Just curious if you've heard anything on the injury status of 2 key players potentially for the Buccaneers in running back Bucky Irving, who has been out for several weeks, and receiver Chris Godwin, who still seems to be recuperating from that horrific injury he suffered last year.
Neither player practiced today. I think I personally would be surprised if either one played on Sunday. I don't think they'll be out there, is my own feeling and read into that. They didn't practice today. They're still getting well from their injuries. Doesn't seem like either player is ready yet. That'll be a blow to Tampa. But look, they're still loaded, and New England will have a huge challenge on its hands, even without Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin.
Adam, before we let you go, is it crazy if I said this could be a Super Bowl matchup on Sunday in Tampa?
No, not at all. I thought Tampa. I picked Tampa to go to the Super Bowl at the start of the year, and New England is obviously one of the surprise teams, first place. It seems ambitious, but certainly not out of the question.
Adam, you're going to sleep a little better tonight? Will your phone ring a little less now that the trade deadline has passed?
It's going to be crazy.
I hope so. I got to tell you, that was a very intense day, and that was a very intense few weeks. That was an unprecedented trade deadline day, just because we've seen 8 trades made on that day, like there were yesterday, but not of that magnitude. And Sauce Gardner, I mean, that one came out of nowhere. Like, I got to be honest. Like, there are very, very few things that happen that I go, oh, that surprised me. Like, I didn't know that one. That one, I didn't know. That surprised me.
Running a tight ship there in New York now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loose lips. The rats are gone in
Man,
New
I
York,
guess so.
apparently. Good. Nice. But, all right, Adam, we'll talk to you next week. Get a little rest between now
Thanks,
and then.
Adam.
Guys, thanks so much. Have a great week.
See you.
Thanks, buddy.